And I think you just have to, I think also more compassion comes with age and the more things that you've been through. And especially, I think my heart has opened up so much in that space, just spending time even with people behind bars that I'm fighting for. And I might not have even had the slightest idea of what someone's gone through or even understood taking the time to listen to people more than maybe speaking and making it about yourself. And my compassion has just grown and my empathy has grown on another level. You can't really judge people for their pace on when they choose to really want to dig deep into their own compassion and empathy and when people choose to grow and evolve. But it's so nice to have people that support that journey and grow with you, because once you realize that this life really isn't about you and it's about helping as many people as you can, all these like doors open up for you and your mind just opens up. And it's a really great place to be when you feel like you have enough, when you would chase things for so long and when you just feel content. It's such a good place to be. And it's such an like allows for so much more compassion.
It was so well said, because I think people think about compassion as care and you just defined it by pace. And I think when you're patient for the pace at which people grow and evolve, that actually is compassion.
Yeah. There's nothing worse when someone is like so woke and they're on this therapy journey and they expect you to be right there with them. But it's a beautiful thing to sit back and watch people make mistakes, learn from their mistakes, grow and evolve, and just be there to hold their hand and support them. I think that's what anyone would want. I've seen so many people on these like self-help journeys that just aren't as happy, you know? And I think you just have to like sit back and do what works for you and move at your own pace and understand that it's okay that you're not at the same level as someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just such like everything happens the way it's supposed to. I love just people in their own journeys. And I never try to be so preachy or to think that someone has to be in my place and at the level where I've evolved to. It's great when your friends have the same kind of epiphanies as you and you want the same things, but then sometimes it's just not like that.
What real love is, like when you really love your family, you don't love them because they change.
Yeah.
You're patient with them as they try to change. That's what love is, because they may or may never get to the other side. And the other thing that came to mind is something my teachers would often tell me, my monk teachers, they would often repeat to me that you're never trying to get someone to the next step in your journey. You're trying to get them to the next step in their journey.
Yeah. Thinking you have the power to change someone is so selfish and so crazy. And everyone does it. And everyone has to learn on their own. And that's something that I've always like sat back, helped friends, given them advice, but never really pushed, because even if I were to say, hey, don't walk down that path, trust me, I've been there, you don't want to go there. And they say, okay. And they follow you and they go on a different path. They'll never learn that lesson. They have no clue what I'm talking about. I welcome people's journeys and their lessons, and I'll always be there to the people that I love to help them through that. But they got to go through that in order to grow on their own.
What's something that you used to value that you no longer feel you value anymore?
Definitely material designer things. I used to value, stuff. I live in an area where there would be fires a lot. And there was probably 4 times we had to fully pack up the house, everything out, houses catching on fire, property caught on fire, like really close to losing everything. First time, packed up my entire shoe and bag closet. And a lot of them because they were memory stuff from my dad, stuff in high school, but all designer stuff. Also videos, photos, whatever. Digitized everything, put everything important somewhere else. Second, pack up the designer stuff, but leave some of the clothes. You know, I don't really need all the clothes, but I packed a hotel for months, bags and every designer thing that I had to come. Third time, leave all the bags and shoes. I don't need them. We got all the photos. We got all my little blankie when I was little, the kids stuff. Fourth time, leave everything. Me and my babies. That's all I need. I have all my photos digitized. I have everything digital. We got our passports. We're good.
Yeah.
And that evolution of they had to go in and get all my designer stuff, or I'm not leaving my house. It's going to catch on fire.
Yeah.
And now I'm nothing is worth it. Nothing is important. And I think that comes from life experiences, scary experiences, things shaking you to your core to make you realize that nothing is important. You can't, I know everyone says this, but you can't take it with you. None of it is important.
Yeah, there's a beautiful Islamic proverb that says, detachment doesn't mean that you own nothing. It means that nothing owns you. And I feel so often we become owned by
I love that.
dreams, our desires, our pursuits, our things.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we have to give them all away or we don't have those things. It's just if and when we have to let go,
totally.
Are we able to let go?
Totally. Even with work stuff. I mean, it doesn't just have to be the material things.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, your dreams. And it's okay to be able to let go, but work so hard to, the opposites are okay.
Mm-hmm.
Contradicting yourself a little bit in those ways.
Yeah.
It's in relationships, you can love a person, miss a person so much, but still have the wisdom to know they're not your person and you're better off not together. That opposite connection with everything, I think, is really important to have that awareness in everything in life, relationships, material things, all of that.
Yeah, I officiated a wedding a few years ago, and someone came up to me from the audience and said to me, Jay, I realized from what you were saying that they'd just gone through a breakup recently, and they were saying, Jay, I realized that I loved that person, but we didn't like each other anymore. And it was that essence of there'll always be that deep love for each other.
Yeah.
But we just don't.
Family,
yeah.
You love people but it's okay to feel a protection of a person, but then also protecting yourself and realizing when you have to and when it's time. And it's okay to feel all of the opposite emotions. I think as long as you're really well aware and go through the motions and feel things and don't hold things in, it's so important, whether it's, breakups, deaths. I've always been really clear-headed and gone through the feelings, gone through the emotions, more in those relationships, more in those lifelong relationships that you hope for. And then also be okay and calm and realizing I've always been someone okay, my dad died. Why is this happening? What was his purpose here? And how are we going to grow and learn from this experience? And I always said that right when he passed, and I felt it and super emotional about it. And, cry all the time when great things happen that I wish he was here. But also I had a wisdom at a younger age to understand that this is a part of our journey and a part of our evolution. And this happens. And this is why you have to hold on to relationships even more precious. But don't let things destroy you at the same time.
And then when I'm sitting with you, I'm feeling peace. And a lot of the time, people try to find people when they're not at peace, hoping that someone else will put their pieces back together.
Mm-hmm.
You are at peace. Do you ever feel like you want to be in love again? Do you long for that? Or are you so at peace that isn't a consideration?
I think I'll always be a hopeless romantic and always want to be in love, and definitely love sharing my life with someone and love creating a life with someone. I definitely will take my time. And I think there's so many factors, especially when you have kids, and being mindful of people that enter in your life. And if I can look at everything that I did wrong and try to not make the same mistakes and really take my time. I think it just has to be different for me. You know, it's obviously such a hard place to be in because how do you go about, who do you know, it's like, so there's so many factors, but I'll always believe in love and I'll always want that. And I think that's such a magical part of life. But I think I'm so comfortable taking my time to not rush it. There's so much going on that I'm not lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that is really important.